Big Mama's biscuits were always a labor of love, but we don't have the type of time anymore. So I'm gonna show you an easier route. While yes, we're keeping it simple, we will need to be a little precise. This is the White Lily self-rising flour. That is a major key. And I'm kind of going to do a step that is a little unnecessary. It will give a better result, but you can absolutely skip this part if you like. I'm going to take some frozen butter. And once I get it chopped in half, I didn't really know how much I was going to use, so I just did a half a stick, but I did not use this whole stick. And I'm going to grate this frozen butter with the large holes on this grater here. Be sure to work a little fast because you don't want this butter to melt at all, especially with your fingertips. Mine are pretty warm, so I like to work as fast as I can when I'm doing something like this. And like the professionals always say, don't be a hero. When you get to this last little nub, don't keep trying to grate it because you will get your fingers. I did go ahead and chop it a little bit further down because, you know, why not? I could still use it for what I was gonna do. Now that we got this all shredded down, don't be like me. Please do not touch this because this butter is so fine and it is ready to melt. So that's why I shredded it over the paper so that I could just like have an easier way to lift it into the container. And I'm gonna put this container into the refrigerator because I'm not gonna use this yet and I want it to stay cold. You can put it in the freezer if you like, but it stayed well just being in the refrigerator. Now we're gonna get down to business. Okay, so we're gonna take our self-rising flour, remember self-rising, and whatever the amount that you're gonna use, you pour that out. You can do this in a bowl. I was just trying to show what this looks like. And you're gonna take your heavy cream that you have measured out and you're gonna slowly start adding that heavy cream into the self-rising flour. This mixing process, this will result in a biscuit. These are the only two ingredients that you absolutely need to make this work. But I'm going to show you an extra step to make the biscuits even more delicious, okay? And note that you don't have to work as slow as I'm going right now. I'm just trying to show you how to slowly incorporate in the heavy cream. I don't want you to just dump it all in the bowl and then you have this big slop in the middle and you can't incorporate the flour. So just do it in steps, but you can move a little bit faster than I am. I'm just trying to get the point across, okay? I'll be out of control. Let's take it to perfection. Just you and me. Let's see if you can bring. After a while, you'll start to see that you get this mass that's in the middle and you have less dry flour. And I'm just gonna dump the rest of my heavy cream out and I'm just gonna zhuzh all of this together. I don't want to knead it too much, but I do want to make sure that it is very well incorporated together. I don't have any dry patches of flour in the middle or anything, so I'm gonna like flip this around and everything to make sure every part has been coated and nothing is like too wet. The dough will be a bit sticky, but we just don't want it to be just like completely wet. If yours is a little bit wetter than you want, you can add a little bit more flour on top. This is kind of a rough measurement type of thing. This is not one of those recipes where you have to do very exact measurements. You just kind of got to get a feel for it.
My hormones jumping like a disco.
Once you see the dough forming up nicely, we're going to go ahead and flatten it out, and then we're going to start creating our layers. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to just cut it in half. You could do a letter fold if you're comfortable with that, but I'm going to put that butter that I reserved on one half of this, and then I'm going to stack these on top of each other. I'm going to flatten it back out again. Okay, this is going to help me create the layers. Again, you don't need the butter steps here. This is kind of like doing a faux lamination, like you would see like with a puff pastry or with a croissant or something like that. Okay, so that is what we're doing here with the butter, is adding those layers in, but the layers are also created just from the stacking method by itself. Okay, so I'm stacking the biscuit dough on top of itself and flattening it back out. That's going to give me that rise when I go and bake these, but we're going to have even more definition from the butter being placed. So we're going to do this a few different times. Again, we don't want to overwork the dough, so I am working quickly and I'm making sure I'm not working the dough too much. That's why I'm just doing like these quick cuts and then just pushing it back down so that we could have those layers staying intact when we go to bake this. Alright, I've done a couple layers now. I just want to get a little peek at what is going on in the middle. So I cut it in half, and you can see those little pieces of butter. They're sticking out. They're saying hey. I wasn't gonna layer this again because I put that last bit of flour, but I was like, forget it. Let's just do it one more time, so that you can see everything. But then I was like, okay, I want this to be more square. You know what I'm saying? So I started shaping it now so that I can go ahead and cut it from here. And I really do not have a biscuit cutter, I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm just gonna cut this with my knife. These biscuits don't have to be perfect. We're just gonna get her done just like that, okay? So if you want your circular, you can have that, you know, that's fine. So now you see my biscuits here. They have nice defined layers in them, as you can see. And the best part about these is that you can freeze these biscuits, okay? I'm going to be putting mine in the freezer, and I'm going to come back a little bit later, maybe like a couple hours later, and I'm going to make these, but you can just keep these in your freezer and cook them from frozen if you have to. That's why I really like this recipe, because sometimes you make a biscuit, you try to freeze it, and it just does not come back correctly. These cook up amazingly, okay? So these are my pretty much frozen biscuits. They were in there a while, so they're a little harder now. And I let them sit for just a second, so they are coming out of the freezer, but they're a little thawed. Okay, so this is what they're gonna look like. And then I baked them up, and look at that. You can definitely see those layers. They don't get a lot of color, so don't be nervous about that. But they do have this amazing interior. It is so soft. If I could compare these to anything, like if you've had like Chick-fil-A biscuits in the morning, like the sandwich, not the minis, like the chicken sandwich, that's kind of the texture of these. It's so fluffy and delicious. You have to make these. Keep them in your freezer. You can pop them in anytime and have breakfast done.